はじめまして。私はデカシャドウとインターネットのパーソナリティが一番カメだよ。よろしくお願いします。Yeah, I'm going full weeb today. It's time to jump back into the kaiju genre with none other than War of the Ninja Monsters, Jaron vs. Goura. The latest work from director Shinpei Hayashiya. You know, Raiga, God Raiga versus King Oga. I've seen pretty much all of this guy's filmography. Except for the one that is actually what put him on the map. His first work, Gamera for Truth. Really like a chance to actually see that one of these days. But, hey, Jaron versus Goura! Which is pretty much Godzilla versus Gamera. A matchup the entirety of the Kaiju fanbase has been begging for decades. But it's also a Shinpei Hayashiya film, so okane ga chisai. Totemo chisai. The budget of the movie is something like 2 mochi cakes and a can of hot coffee. But after his last 3 films, we honestly should be used to that by now. So, ego o mite kudasai, and let's see if his craft has improved. Or at the very least, his ability to stretch a yen. Starting off with a bang! Not that the opening credits are particularly interesting, but the audio mixing of this movie is really loud. Interestingly enough, the first time I ripped it, I accidentally did it at 200% volume. It's a good thing this thing has subtitles. No bother. We're moving on to some shrines and beautiful landscapes, so the sound is bound to calm down sooner or later. Or my speakers could break in real time. Oh! Waterfall. It just sounds exactly like when you set your CRT to channel 3. A kimono-clad girl is praying because this is a serious kaiju flick, and that will be important. Later.
平和に暮らしている生活が突然信じられない出来事に遭遇する運命。
Well, from where I'm standing, that ain't that hard to imagine.
まさか自分に降りかかってくるなんて思いもしないことでしょう。
Okay, if monkeys do start flying out of butts in this movie, I will be impressed. Somehow this guy is talking about the Sengoku period, which they didn't cover in my elementary school. Something about disaster.
これから始まる物語は明日あなたに起こっても何の不思議もありません。
You know what? They say everything is big in Texas, but I have yet to actually see a single kaiju flick filmed in this state. What kind of disaster is he talking about? Well, if the next scene is anything to go by, financial disaster, as the AAC stunts gym is really starting to suffer. Less clients means less money, and the increasing rent is making it hard to stay open. But even worse.
田中さん、子供たちもいますので、声小さめでお願いします。田中さん。田中さん。
Need I remind you the first time I watched this, it was at 200% volume. The scene was especially painful.
私の声が大きいのはね、生まれつきなの。もっと大きくできるわよ。
田中さん、聞こえちゃいますよ。
I know that kaiju movies had the destructive monster cries, but this is ridiculous. The guys don't think enrollment is all that bad, but Tanaka says Oashi is an action coach. He exercises all day, and that relieves his stress. She sits on her ass and feels everything. The other suggests, hey, maybe some more events could help bolster enrollment. But of course, events are expensive, and last time signups didn't really pick up as a result.
中学卒業で3人辞めちゃうし、マイナス1人か。
Hey, look on the bright side, your recruitment rate is probably the best it's ever been. It's just Japan's declining birth rate that has resulted in no more children to enroll in your school. How zany!
でも物事は前向きに考えましょうよ。
はあ？
悪いことの後には良くなりますから。ね。
You know what, you're right. I don't have to sit here all doom and gloom. I'm going right back to Japan. This time, to help with the population crisis. Ohashi is like, fuck it, just think positively. The frog ain't boiling if the temperature rises slow enough, right? Well, this conversation is going nowhere, so Tanaka gets a call from the boss and heads off to chew him out. And we skip right to the end of the day with the guys talking about how they can relax after all of that exercise.
趣味があるんですよ。
趣味パチンコじゃなくて。
いや、もうやってないです。
ああ、やめちゃったんだ。
Ah, no more gambling for me. Now I spend my entire paycheck on the prediction markets. It is legally distinct. But his hobby to relax after exercise is spelunking in Chichibu. Still sounds awfully physically intensive to me, but what do I know? His friend is excited, so they head out at once. First stop, Ikebukuro Eki. Wait a minute. Pond Bag Station. I swear I know just enough kanji to be completely confused and have no idea what's going on. It's an easy trip, but a bit long. But don't worry, look! Ohashi made rice balls. Giant goddamn rice balls. Oki onigiri, if you will. And as luck would have it, these two don't seem to care all that much that eating on the train is a rather big no-no in Japan.
ちょっと早速食べましょうよ。電車の中で。
They acknowledge it, but it's more lucky that they just happen to have no extras on this train. Wait, who's driving this thing? Pretty sure this scene exists to showcase just how carefree these two are, and how great friends they have been for oh so long. Anywho, when they arrive, they are still recovering from the massive meal they just enjoyed.
いやーでもなんかいや一見来たしちょっと撮っときましょうよ。ねえ。おいいの撮れましたよ。
Wait, that sign behind him, the arrow and the kanji. That clearly says, to the left is left. Why have I studied so much? Ignorance made so much more sense to me. Anyway, the day is beautiful, the weather is perfect, and absolutely nothing can spoil that for these two. But what's this?
亀神よ、災いの時が近づいております。
Well, shit. Sogen believes she lacks the power to stop it herself, and she beseeches the turtle god to save the land. But that's not to say she does nothing. Nah, she hops on the local public access television spot to help spread the word. People are trying to return us to the Sengoku period. And this is bad, I think.
奴らとはどんな方たちなんでしょうか。地雷衆じゃ。地雷衆。
The Jirai? Oh no, that's something.
それはどんな方たちなんでしょうか。邪悪な忍者集だ。
And not everyone in Japan is a ninja, you know. There's also a lot of magical girls.
その旅を復活させてはならん。すいません、ここで CM です。いや待って、地雷衆は復活させてはならん。
So yeah, that whole speech on public access is effectively ignored. Like, not even just ignored for the time being. Even when shit does go down later, no one in the movie is like, oh, so that's what the crazy lady was talking about. No, they don't bring it up at all. This really means nothing. One little shibaraku omachi kudasai later, and it's back with our carefree couple, enjoying this hike, the wonderful weather, the autumnal foliage. Surely nothing can spoil their fun.
だってこんなんもうやっぱ秋ですよこれ。
Oh, it's not the ninjas you gotta worry about. It's when someone decides to point them out by breaking out the vanilla ice. Finding the cave entrance they were looking for, the two of them get closer until under the shadow of day for night. A little fake dark is nothing a little fake light can't solve.
よし、じゃあいいですか。
They didn't remember to put the fake light in that scene. Now, that might have been an improvement because when they do enter the cave, the fake light is added in post, but boy howdy! It looks like a Timu lightsaber suffering from time dilation. But what's this?
何よ。これどれ。
The big stone box propelled the boys! And the audio peaking, that was the scary part.
鍛錬せし者己が力を解放し変化するのじゃ。
Okay. Now the only question, what's in the box?
砂じゃん。お宝じゃねえのか。
Hey, I'll have you know that sand is very valuable in construction projects. That could still fetch a pretty penny. Just the one, but a pretty one. Oh, wait, there's a scroll hidden within the sand. Something, turtle, snake. Looks stupid, but stupid enough to keep. Oh, just their luck, it was laced with NyQuil.
鍛錬せし者が力を解放し変化するのじゃ。
Yes, they've already done what you have asked them to. You can stop asking them now. Hey, we made it to the title! That took a lot longer than I was anticipating. 17 minutes to get here. And the movie's only 55 minutes long. Oh, the kanji, right. Well, it looks like it says Ninja War Giant Monster Chronicle Snake Dragon versus something. I feel like the monsters who are not ninjas are not part of that ninja war, and the ninjas who are not monsters probably are. Anyway, Finally, time for more backstory. Feudal lords in ancient Japan just so happen to be served by giant monsters. Like, a lot, and the Jirai were among the most badass. However, the Mitsume were their biggest rivals, so they got even better at Kaiju Ninja War, honing their techniques across the ages. Now, that was all supposed to end after the Sengoku period, for reasons, but the Jirai made a scroll, and one thing led to another. Oh, what are you talking about? That's a big man. There's Big Man Japan over there. The two ladies assume it must be some holographic advertisement for giant turtles or something. Okay, so he is a turtle. I didn't realize that with the whole him clearly not being a turtle 2 seconds ago. But when they try to snap a picture, what's this? The turtle does not appear on their camera. How strange. Even weirder. I like to imagine they were planning out the kaiju scenes, got the actors to do the motions, sent it to the VFX team, said, make it look just like that. And they were like, okay. Seeing giant monsters, though, the locals decide to say fuck it and leave, explaining to these women that, yeah, people here have a tradition about not staying out past 8 unless there is a festival. Which does not explain how these people were out past 8.
それは言えてる。あ、私たちも逃げよう逃げよう。
Or start an impromptu festival. Everyone, get your fundoshis.
行け我らの力地雷変ですよ
The people are already screaming and running. You don't have to tell them to get started. They are way ahead of you. This looks like a job for the Self-Defense Force. Except they don't think so. No matter how many people call and tell them, there's a giant turtle on the loose destroying the city, they simply say, sorry, not my department, and instruct them to call the police or something.
怪獣戦車と攻撃ヘリを出してくれあなた大丈夫ですか
They explain this is the recruitment center. They can't do anything about the giant monsters unless they're looking to sign up. The monsters in question, though, seem far more interested in beating the shit out of one another. I mean, they say they aren't, but that doesn't mean they aren't tossing Adobe After Effects after each other just the same. And though I did question the effectiveness of having middle-aged Japanese guys throwing special effects at each other, I must admit that that is my favorite part of the fights.
Oh no! That's when the now worked.
And it's hard to get super invested in the monster brawl spectacle when they mostly just kinda stand there while things blow up. Or they are on fire. Even the Self-Defense Force is bored. They probably do know about the kaiju and are just not responding because, I mean, come on. Yet they continue to get calls, allegedly from the same caller, who just keeps calling no matter how many times they tell him, Funben o tabemashiro!
言葉遣いに気をつけなさい。
失礼しました
Hey, most rudeness in Japan is just not using the polite enough form for speaking to someone of the age you're speaking to, so it's fun to come up with more American-style swearing with the lexicon. She tells them that no matter what, they must answer the calls calmly and professionally. As such, she takes the next call herself.
ですから、こちらは自衛隊でして。は？
あなたの下着はどのものですか？
あなた失礼ですよ。
Okay, so that's the third pickup line not to work. I got this whole list from that Rakugo guy. One of these is bound to do the trick. But what's this? Her sister, Shinobu, is involved in the ninja trade. What could this mean? I am not sure. We're moving on to something.
月が隠れ赤く染まる
Well, how are you supposed to tell if it's hidden? Are we talking a new moon or a blood moon here? Because a blood moon only happens on a full moon, and a full moon is the exact opposite of a new moon.
人中変で真の合一の時
Well, at least that happened. It strangely was the far more likely scenario to actually occur out of the two.
この世は我
Well, if you need that first one to be true as well, I got some bad news for you. So she must run! But wait! First, we gotta introduce the mountain rescue team. Though it is less a team and more a pair of employees, one of which is not particularly enthusiastic about going into some cave just because there might be people who need help.
マダラ洞窟で遭難するか？
連絡が入ったから行くぞ。な。
いや、マダラ洞窟で遭難するかな？
行くぞ。
Why we're introducing new characters more than halfway through the movie, I'm not sure, but I'm also kind of confused as to exactly how they got the call that anyone even needed help. I mean, who would know that those two were out there? This is still within the time frame that they were going to be exploring the cave, right? So, I mean, everyone knows about the kaiju stomping around, but the only ones who really have any idea that these two are there are the Jirai guy talking in their heads, and I'm pretty sure he's not the guy that called the rescue team. Especially considering how hard it's been to share any information about the situation.
私の携帯でも撮れないのよね。もうこれ買い替えた方がいいのかも。
Well, that'd be a hell of a feature for a new iPhone camera. Now it takes crystal clear pictures of kaiju. No more plot stealth fudging up your images. No bother, she can still film the report. Or can she? No, her cameraman points out, hey, that big ass monster over there is just ain't showing up on the camera. Again.
なんで映らないの？なんで？
Maybe call the self-defense force with that, see if it works. Hey, we got giant monster turtle ghosts out here. Maybe from space, you better hurry, I think he looks like a time traveler. Speaking of speaking to the self-defense force, we finally meet the man that has been calling them up nonstop the whole time. And so now he goes straight to voicemail.
捕まるよあなた。なんで？
And the Rakugo guy did say the chicks dig felons. Does that not work in Japan or what? But the kaiju battle continues, the monsters tossing special effects at each other, and the men don ninja gear and try to murder one another with foam swords. Which also is sometimes giant man versus giant monster on occasion. I have no idea what's going on. Does it really matter? More importantly, this woman is making a sketch of the monsters, which news would really like to see. It's the closest thing they have to an image to work with, so work with it.
これを映してこの絵を。これこそ現実なのよ。
いいのこの絵で。
No, we can't put that on television. It is far higher quality than the monsters actually are. But our collect color also just so happens to have its own far more detailed kaiju sketch.
おばさんのもいい味出てますよ。
おばさん？お姉さんだから。
And the subtitles are close enough to get the point across, but let's lean into the Japanese culture and the meaning of the words. Okay, so the news reports approached her with Oka-san, which is, mother, and the man referred to her as Oba-san, which is grandmother, and she insists she is more One-san, younger sister. And of course, the proper way to refer to her would be Oba-san. However, shit is about to get real. Notzilla's spines glow and Not Gamera's shell crackles. So finally, they all decide to say fuck it and leave, while the battle between the middle-aged men and their midlife crises reaches heights never before seen.
究極の術を授ける。互いの真の姿になるために。
Dude, I can't even tell what form they're in half the time. Let's not throw another one in there and complicate it even further. Point is, fuck this parking garage, and fuck this bridge, and fuck these suits as they transform into CGI. The turtle becomes a stabby turtle. Oh yes, please, remind me of the ninja plot. I wasn't invested in those monsters or anything.
こうさえできればお前たちなど敵ではないわ
A true union? What exactly do they have to do? Kiss? I have no idea. The other clan throws leaves at them, but these two giant-ass monsters are standing on giant-ass high fire, and they do that swirl thing. You know, the swirl? That's the ultimate technique, I guess.
ではならぬ。術そのものに飲み込まれるぞ。
We are in the ninja forest somehow. What the fuck is going on? Ninja Girl runs through, but suddenly ninjas attack. This brings about the fall of day for night, and they fight. By which I mean the baddie suddenly loses track of her and she just murks the motherfucker. These guys are really not that threatening. But Big Boss can prove to be a much bigger challenge, especially as these two have a couple of katanas that, for a change of pace, look like they're actually made of metal. Day for Night comes in and out as they duel back and forth. How will she survive? What the hell was that? The I forgot where my sheath is technique? And fuck the bridge! Again! Somehow these two kaiju are not united, though I could have sworn that was the swirly earlier. But looky here, the rescue team has found the lost hikers. How convenient! But wait, they are not waking up!
It was bad onigiri.
Oh, yeah, I remember that happened. Trust me, I remember. Who needs a sword when you have fire breath? Fortunately, a rather narrow cone that is very easy to sidestep. But he manages to grab her anyway. Then she slashes into his body, and he falls. Well, if they do, they're gonna have a few more holes in them. Her ninja work complete, she ninjas away, and the two giant monsters the movie is actually about, they become pure energy and skedaddle. And the friends wake up, thrashing and screaming, but it still counts. And the head rescuer is played by the same actor as the evil ninja, so of course the guys are a bit reluctant to trust him. But he's like, hey, trust me, and so they do. That must have been a dream where they turned into monsters and destroyed Chichibu.
お二人を救助に出る直前、秩父市街に2頭の怪獣が現れて街中を破壊したと連絡がありました。
It's probably still just coincidence. I am sure that a lot of guys in Japan have dreams about kaiju destroying cities. Yeah, correlation is not causation. Of course, there are the pieces of the scroll they have showing both monsters in question, and the fact that the monsters both just up and vanished, and the pure energy balls leaving them, yeah, I guess that is a bit suspicious.
あれ？建物壊れてないや。え？俺一体何見てたんだ?
No. None of the cities are destroyed anymore. This is Japan. They rebuild those things in record time in this genre. Either way, the cute ninja does a dance, gets a scroll, and that's that. But wait! In the underworld, there is still plot going on. Kiryu is like, yeah, got my ass kicked by a girl. But how could that be? We killed their entire clan!
わしもそうは思うておった。焼き討ちの後、女のむくろの数が合わんとは思うていたが。
I'm just walking through all the corpses like, wait a minute. There should be more chicks here.
その女とわしの娘じゃ。
Also, that previous bit of information was kind of pointless because, surprise! The girl was in fact the daughter of the big bad boss's bigger, badder bosser.
安心せい。親の情けなどみじんもないわ。
Well, that's all well and good, but she still kicked his ass.
臨終邪気を召喚し、出撃するのじゃ。
Please don't end on sequel bait. And summon how? The man's dead. So, yeah, we end on sequel bait. Did you like that ninja storyline? Well, there's more coming. The end. Except not the end. The pause, the patient wait until the next chapter in the epic story of Ninja War Giant Monster. Yeah. Anyway, that was War of the Ninja Monsters. Jaron versus Goura. It's entertaining enough for what it is. Definitely for fans of low-budget schlock kaiju flicks and low-budget schlocky kaiju flicks. This movie somehow took place in one small location and was simultaneously all over the place. Considering the very, very short running time, it's honestly impressive they managed to cram this much plot in, but it's not without it feeling very jarring, jumpy, and all-around confusing. Disappointingly, the battles between the giant monsters, which should be the main course of this genre of movie, actually felt like they might have been the weakest link. The designs aren't the most original, effectively legally distinct Godzilla and Gamera, but they hardly actually attack each other either, like physically attack. We get special effects thrown about, but from mostly still suits. We don't get a lot of action on set unless we're looking at the two of them in their giant human forms, throwing attacks and fighting with swords. Somehow, that is more fun to watch than the monsters. Though while this movie does cover a lot in 55 minutes, it also retreads the same points over and over again. The fact that no one can capture the monster on film is something that should just be established, then maybe brought up in passing once or twice more. But instead, it's a rather constant theme with the people, everyone talking about how they just can't get pictures. All the time. It's like, yeah, I know! At the end of the day, War of the Ninja Monsters, Jaron vs. Goura is a morbid curiosity for fans of this director, but unless you're as deep into the rabbit hole as I am not really sure it'll get the appeal. Coming in at Futatsu Daijin out of 5. I mean, I am looking forward to this man's next work, but I am also praying it is greatly improved. Thank you all for watching. I've been Dr. Shado, and remember, there's also a superstition in Japan that overeating can lead you to forgetting things, so on that note, I'm going to have a big dinner. That'd be a hell of a feature for a new iPhone camera. Now takes crystal clear pictures of kaiju. No plot. That'd be a hell of a feature for a new iPhone camera. Now takes crystal clear. That'd be a hell of a new feature for. That'd be a hell of a feature for a new iPhone. That'd be a hell of a feature for a new. That'd be a hell of a feature for a new iPhone camera. Now takes crystal clear pictures of kaiju. No plot stealth fudging up your images any longer. And